Hi, I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Justy.
And together we're losing it.
We both lost over 100 pounds by developing healthy habits.
And I also had weight loss surgery and used a GLP-1 medication.
And I used a GLP-1 medication and had skin removal surgery.
We're really passionate about helping people learn to live a healthy lifestyle by sharing our experiences.
But we're not doctors, so if you have questions, reach out to your medical team. And you may see our mascot Sancho pop up from time to time.
And all three of us hope that you find our content useful.
Hello, friends, and welcome back for another episode. So it's the new year. We haven't talked to you since the new year. So Justy and I just went through lots of thoughts flowing through our head for new topics, but specifically for today's topic, because I think a lot of people in the new year try to set themselves some goals like we did, resolutions, whatever you want to call them. We prefer to call them goals because we're not resolving anything. We're just goal-oriented ladies who like to have something to aim towards. But there's a lot of folks who are looking at us, specifically Justy, because I've been MIA on social media for a while, just with like holidays, kids, vacations, busted shoulder, that kind of thing. But I'm making a comeback now. But specifically around like, what do we eat in a day? How are we in maintenance, and what do we eat in a day to stay in maintenance? And I'm just going to start by saying that what we eat in a day to stay in maintenance is not what we ate in a day to get us to over 300 pounds. It is not what we ate in a day when we started coming down from 300 pounds. And it's not what we ate in a day when we were losing weight to get down, into goal range. It's all very different. But what we eat in a day, where should we start with it? What do you think?
Let's start with, I get a lot of questions like, how do you work in a bakery and not gain weight? But it's because I have a meal plan and, starting with the plan, and I always start with my breakfast. So maybe we should start there, like kind of what we do for breakfast and how we've kind of changed.
Yeah, why don't we hit on like kind of each area? Well, we have an idea. We never have a plan, y'all. Just so you know, we have an idea and we just roll with it.
We're rolling it.
Yeah, I think we'll go with like kind of each area. So like breakfast and what you do, and like what maybe breakfast used to look like, and what we did when we were in, like, because a lot of people are trying to lose right now. They're not where we are. So what we eat in a day isn't going to be what you eat in a day.
Right. And it's interesting because I literally had somebody reach out to me, and it was a person here in Charlotte, and was like, hey, like, I feel like I'm eating healthy and I feel like I'm, eating a lot less and this and that or whatever. And I'm like, well, just tell me what you eat for breakfast. She was like, well, I have potatoes and bacon and eggs and toast and then some fruit and my coffee. And I'm like, hold on. You don't need all that. Like, you
Right,
just
you really
don't.
don't.
You do not need all that. And that was my mindset too. I literally had to have fried potatoes and butter, eggs and butter, bacon, toast with butter on it. I had fruit. Actually, I didn't even have fruit. I skipped the fruit, but I'd have some gravy on that stuff if I had it. Like, I just felt like that's what I had to have for breakfast. That's what breakfast was in Texas, right?
Right. I mean,
But
before we get too far into it, let's just say that's not to say that you can't have that stuff. Justy and I don't have a we can't eat or we don't
no,
insist on anything. Because let me
no.
tell you how I have biscuits and gravy on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's
But I'm
because like
not
there's room for every food, but it's not every food all the
all the
time.
time. Yes. It's not every food, every meal.
I'm
And that's kind of
meal
what,
prepping biscuits and gravy.
right. That's what I had to like really learn on this journey, is that it's not every meal every time. It's not, I do not have to have an orgasm in my mouth every time I eat. The majority of my food, sorry, mom, the majority of my food is for health purposes. I need protein, I need lean proteins, I need some carbs, I need fruits and vegetables. The 20% is shit that I like. And I used to think every meal had to be shit that I liked, every bite, right?
And then 20% of it could be like, I'll have this little side salad to go with it. It's
To
like,
make me feel better. And
right. I
so,
get
and
it.
so, and so, yeah, so we kind of, as our journey started, I went into a part where I just didn't eat breakfast, but that's not good either because I work out in the morning. So what I eat for breakfast currently, and I'm a basic bitch, like really the same thing. I can do the same thing for days. And I eat one egg, a half a cup of egg yolks or egg whites. And then I do some sort of vegetable, usually spinach. I'll throw some onions or tomatoes in there. I put a little bit of cheese. And then I either have fruit, but not like a whole thing of fruit, like 5 grapes or a half a piece of toast or something to give me some carbs. And I have a banana before I work out. And that is my breakfast almost every morning.
And so I'll say, and I happen to have my, for those of you that know, I do have a meal prep business, and I have last week's menu and this week's menu here with me. And that is also what I eat. It's a lot. I don't eat all of it. I couldn't eat all of it because I offer a lot of things, but sometimes it'll be something that I don't eat because I don't like mushrooms, but I know other people do. So I'll meal prep something with mushrooms. That's for somebody else. It's not for me. But I do eat a lot of this stuff, and I am different from Justy in that I do like a variety. I don't necessarily want the same thing every day. I don't prep more of 4 of anything for myself because I know I don't want it more than 4 times in a week. So the thing is, you have to be realistic with it. If you're like me and you know, like 4, I max out at 4. 3 is a sweet spot for me. Sometimes by the time I get to the 4th one, I'm like, I don't want this, but I don't want to waste the food. My thoughts on me, especially when it comes to meal prep, if you're meal prepping, you should be excited for it. If it's not something you're craving or you're excited for, you're not going to want it. And it's going to end up in the trash, and you're going to end up in the drive-through or ordering out or door dashing or whatever. So you have to really be excited for it. Like every once in a while, I'm like, ooh, I could go for like enchiladas. And guess what's on my meal prep? Enchiladas. Or like, like spaghetti sounds good. So maybe I'll do like a bolognese and spaghetti squash or something like that. So a lot of times it comes out to be like something I'm craving. And Justy and I used to meal prep together, and that was it. Like she'd be like, "Oh, I'm really feeling such and such," and then we'd make it. And the thing is when especially when you're meal prepping, like I said, every food, there's a place for every food. There's just not a place for every food for every day. So if we're like, man, I'm really feeling fettuccine Alfredo, I'm not meal prepping that shit. Or I'm going to find a variation of it that's going to scratch the itch that I can have every day. So I have done that before where I think you had it too. Did you have the cottage cheese one that I made?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's really good. Like that scratches the itch. And so it's like, you just have to, I don't know, you got to play with your food. I know we were taught not to, but so just as an example for breakfast for me, last week, I did a bacon cheddar egg bite. And so it's kind of a play on the Starbucks egg bites. And I make those with cottage cheese. So it's a cottage cheese, bacon, cheddar cheese, eggs. It goes in the blender. Well, the bacon gets added after it goes in the blender. And then I do it in little silicone muffin cups. And then I bake them in a water bath. And so they're really good. They're high protein. So those are for 2 of them. And if I'm doing fruit, I typically do a side of berries because berries are lower in calories. So you get more bang for your buck with them. Bananas are good because like if you're working out because you get the higher carb, and you need that energy to burn. But if it's just a regular ass breakfast, I'm not working out or something, I'm going to go with berries. So for a half a cup of berries and 2 of those, 271 calories, 20 grams of protein, 14 grams of carbs, and 15 grams of fat. And that's plenty of food. Plenty. Like you don't need the home fries with it. You don't need, you know what I mean?
Want it.
Right.
But do you want to lose weight?
Right. And also coffee. Like Justy and I drink coffee. So for me, I am more of a later night person. So Justy and I are opposite there. She'll get up and she'll have her coffee and she eats her breakfast and she goes to the gym and all that. I don't eat anything until probably 10:30 in the morning because I'm up later and I start my day with a 24-ounce water. I wake up and I start sipping it, and I don't allow myself to have coffee until I got that out of the way. Me as a bariatric patient, I struggle because you can't eat and drink at the same time. So you have to separate that stuff. So for me to reach my water goal, and Justy could drink a gallon within an hour probably, and I can't. So I get that first 24 ounces of water out of the way before I even have coffee. My coffee is typically with a sugar-free creamer.
Me too.
But I'm not going to lie. My peppermint mocha, it's disgusting sugar-free, but I'm going to have some peppermint mocha. But if I use the peppermint mocha, I only allow myself to have one coffee because like we said, there's room for every food, but not all
Right.
the time. If I
Mhm.
have sugar-free creamer, I'll allow myself to have a second coffee. So it's a
And
lot of it comes with discipline.
I'm opposite than Steph. Like I'm not super sensitive. My taste buds are not super sensitive to like the sugar-free stuff. So I like I drink the sugar-free peppermint mocha. I drink very strong coffee though, like Cafe Bustelo, and it's really strong. So I don't know if that makes a difference. But I also
No,
have
because my shit's
I
strong too.
also have coffee shops, and so I usually
Yeah.
will just do one coffee in the morning, and then I drink my coffee as an Amelie's, which I do. We have sugar-free vanilla, but it's the Monin, so it's pretty good.
That's
And then I
good,
do
yeah.
like almond milk or whatever. But I'm less picky than Steph is with food. So I'm very basic. Like I don't keep fresh garlic. I use garlic powder.
Oh no, absolutely not. That's
She's
the
like, oh no.
you already know me. I bust out the garlic container. No, you are not going to catch me with. I have garlic powder. There's a place for it, but in most of the things, it's fresh garlic. Yeah.
So for also another thing we do for breakfast is we've done, because when we meal prep together, we've done like overnight oats.
Yep.
You know.
And that's actually on this week's menu. So I have a peanut
Mhm.
butter and jelly overnight oat this week.
Mhm.
Now, am I using peanut butter? No, but I'm using
No.
PB Fit,
Right.
right? So this
Mhm.
one's going to be, it gets, I actually add protein powder to it. It gets PB Fit, it gets Fairlife milk, the oats, a little bit of stevia just to give it a little bit of sweetness. I do a little bit of vanilla yogurt, some chia seeds, and this one's peanut butter and jelly. So I get sugar-free strawberry preserves and I put that on top and some chopped peanuts. And that one is 399 calories because I try to stay below 400. Not that I
Mhm.
count calories, but when if I'm creating a recipe or pairing something like that, if I know that what I'm eating is only 400 calories and I eat 3 meals around 400 calories, that's 1200 calories, and that leaves me plenty of room for like a protein bar, a snack, or whatever. So my guide is about 400 calories, but I don't track food. So
And I like to get about 30 grams of protein per meal. So if
right.
I
So
get
that's
30 grams of protein per meal, then that's 30, 60, 90. And then
right.
and then I usually drink a protein shake. So that's another 30. And then I have some yogurt, which is 20 or something like that. So I get up to that
Mhm.
130 is my goal. And then anything more than that, I feel really, really good about.
Right. And so that one was 399 calories, 30 grams of protein.
Mhm.
It is 58 grams of carbs, but they're oats.
Right. And the
Rolled
carbs in the
oats.
morning, there's definitely science behind that.
Yeah.
So carbs give you energy. And so carbs
It's
in the
your body's
morning,
main source of energy. Yeah.
right? So eating carbs in the morning makes sense. And I usually will do morning, I'll do a little bit of carbs in the afternoon and virtually no carbs at night. Just because I don't need energy at night. So I kind of will do like a salmon
Balance it.
and broccoli, and I don't do rice at night. But if I was eating that at lunch, I'd add some rice because I need to get through the day. I need to fuel my body. I'm a very active woman. So yeah, so the carbs are not bad.
Right. And then I also have like protein pancakes or like a banana pancake or like a banana cottage cheese pancake. That's another thing I'm doing this week. And then parfaits. Parfaits are huge for me. I could damn near live off of yogurt. And for me, I use the Oikos Pro for almost everything because
Yeah,
it's
me
so
too.
high in protein and it's really creamy and it's just
Yeah.
really good. But I
Yeah.
took it a couple weeks ago. I took the Oikos Pro and some blended up some mangoes, so it made like a mango puree, and then I mixed it with the
Mhm.
yogurt. Then I topped
Mhm.
it with fresh pineapple and toasted coconut and protein granola, and it was like a tropical like yogurt, and it was so good. But it was fresh
Yeah.
fruit and like unsweetened coconut. And then the protein granola and the Oikos Pro yogurt, and it was really, really good. So I try to get creative with parfaits because I probably eat those. I eat at least one a week. Sometimes it's my breakfast every day of the week, but when
Mhm.
I don't have something like the egg bites meal prepped, I grab the yogurt out of the fridge. And there's so many things you can do with a basic vanilla yogurt, like so
Yeah.
many things. You can
Yeah.
flavor it so many ways.
Mhm.
So that's like a big one for me too. So that's kind of like breakfasty. And of course, that's not to say like Justy does her eggs. There's eggs. Sometimes I'll do one egg mixed with some egg white.
Mhm.
Sometimes I'll just do 2 whole ass eggs if I
Yeah.
want. I'm big on turkey sausage, a little bit of turkey pepperoni, turkey bacon, but
Bacon.
mostly turkey sausage. It's just
Mhm.
easy. It reheats well too if you're meal prepping it. Trying to think anything else that you can think of breakfast
And
wise.
Steph will pre-make her breakfast because she likes to do that. And that's really great for people who have to kind of like be to work at a certain time. I don't. So and I just like to make my breakfast. I literally have like a little what is it, like 8-inch pan or 10-inch pan, and that's my egg pan. I just make it every morning and wash it out and stick it on, and that's just my egg pan. And yeah, so I like to make my breakfast fresh, but I don't care about eating the same thing every day. And my lunch and dinner, I always prepare.
Yeah, but no matter what, whether it be breakfast or any other meal, we're always protein forward.
Yep.
So we're
And we
always
have a
aiming.
plan. We
Yeah,
have a plan, and it's not willy-nilly. And it's not like, I don't know what I'm going to eat. I have no groceries. let me go through McDonald's. Like that does not go on in our lives. And it used
right,
to weekly,
right,
multiple
right,
times a week, every
right.
day.
Because we didn't plan for anything, so it was just kind of like whatever we drove by is like, let's
Yeah.
drive it. Does that
Yeah.
happen sometimes where we don't, like, life gets busy or whatever, you don't have a plan or your plan gets thrown to the side, and then we do have those thoughts of like, oh,
Yeah.
I could just go through a drive-through,
Yeah.
and that's a whole nother podcast. But it
Right.
happens, it still happens, but we
Mhm.
will do our best to set ourselves up so we don't have that situation happen to us.
Right. Yeah.
Yep. So there's all kinds of options for breakfast there. So let's get into lunch a little bit.
Lunch. Yep.
What's lunch for you look like?
So for me, I was telling Steph, when I go to the grocery store, I buy meat, whatever meat I feel like or is on sale. So like this week, I bought a 3.5 pound thing of ground turkey. And so from that ground turkey, I just seasoned it like taco meat type of, I just put some tomatoes and onions and shit in it and seasoned it. And then I made enchiladas with that. A lot of meat, less tortilla, and I use the corn tortillas because I like them. And I put some
Mhm.
cheese and sauce on there, low sodium, enchilada sauce. And then I made taco salads with the rest of the meat. So this week I have taco salads and enchiladas. I put beans and spinach and everything in my salads, and I keep my meat separate. So that's what I did this week. Last week I got chicken breasts. And so I made like a chicken fried rice, lots of chicken, lots of vegetables, very little rice. Because I eat the same things I always would eat, but I just portion it differently.
Right.
And I had salmon with Brussels sprouts. And then I had some sweet potatoes last week. So it's just sort of depending on what meat I buy, I guess. But
Yeah. And then what like flavor profile you're looking for to go with it? Because it's real
yeah,
easy for, listen, all else fails, you just turn that shit Mexican.
right. Yeah.
'Cause no matter
Yeah, for
what meat,
sure.
no matter
For
what meat
sure.
you get, you could make it into a
Right.
taco flavored something or
Right.
fajita or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. But I
So
go
there's
through
always
my
that.
Italian phases where it's like, oh, I feel like spaghetti. And like you said, probably next time I get the turkey meat, since I did the, taco Latin flavors, I'll probably do Italian. So I'll probably make a bolognese or
Mhm.
something like that with spaghetti squash. But I really like having a salad in the mix, like
Mhm.
salad with salmon on it or salad with the turkey or shrimp, kind of really whatever meat, I'll do like a dish and then a salad.
And before I was, Jesse and I were talking about this earlier, before I was got really good at this like whole meal prepping and figuring out what I wanted, my safety net was to just have a salad bar prepped in the
Yeah.
fridge. So
Mm-hmm.
whatever that protein is, like she had said, it could be tofu, it
Yeah,
could be chicken, it could be because Jesse went through a no meat phase.
I
So
did for
it could be
years.
yeah, it could be
Yeah.
a lot of things. But if you do that, I highly suggest glass, like
Mhm.
Pyrex glass dishes or jars
Mhm.
or mason jars because your fresh produce will last cut
Mhm.
longer in glass than it will in plastic. So but I always had like if you are familiar with the Pyrex sets, the round ones, there's like a big one that's got a red lid. Then there's like the medium sized one that has like a orange, I think, and then yellow, but they all get smaller and smaller. So the big one, I had chopped lettuce in.
Mhm.
And the next smaller one might have, the next size down would be like, I'd always did grape tomatoes just because they're easy. You don't have to do anything with them. And they're typically
Yeah.
ripe. Like you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Cucumber, onion, chickpeas, or like maybe a black bean or something like
Mhm.
that. Red
I did
peppers.
black beans this week. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would just have a bunch of that stuff. And if it's in glass, you can see it. So
Mhm.
not only does it stay fresh longer, but you can visually see it and know what you want to grab out of there
Mhm.
and put on top of it. Dressings, I typically, if I was doing salad, I would go Hidden Valley Ranch makes a really good light ranch dressing, and ranch is super versatile. So you could throw some hot sauce in it and make it like a buffalo ranch. You could throw some chipotle seasoning in it and make it like chipotle. Like you can really change the flavors up, like cilantro, lime, whatever you want to do. You can mix that stuff up. So that's
And
a really good one.
I typically don't do dressing on my salad, which I know I'm a weirdo.
Mm.
But like
Yeah.
I do with my taco salads, I warm up the meat and so the meat's a little juicy, and then I just put some cottage cheese and
Sour
salsa.
cream salsa, yeah.
That's it. And
Yeah.
then I have I still have my dressing from Africa that I got. The Pippa brought me some more, and that I'm addicted
in
to
the
that
freezer,
stuff. So
yeah. Yeah, I'm
I,
like, what the hell is this, Justy?
I love it. So
Mhm.
yeah, so salads. If I'm gonna do carbs into my prep, I'll eat that. Like if I did like I said, if I'm doing the sweet potatoes, I'll eat that for my lunch instead of my dinner. And I think it's also important to talk about how we make dishes differently now. So like I said with the stir fry, I put a lot of meat and less rice.
Mhm.
The
Yep.
same thing, like a couple weeks ago, listen, I wanted some chicken and dumplings. And I had chicken and dumplings, but I
Mhm.
would normally make like a whole pot of dumplings. And instead, I made like a whole thing of chicken. Like I made a lot of chicken and I just put a few dumplings in there. And
Yeah.
it made like, it wasn't my
It
mama's,
scratches the
but
itch. Yeah.
it did scratch the itch. And I didn't put any mashed potatoes or anything with it. I just had the chicken and dumplings and I was
Mhm.
satisfied, but it was also like more in line with my goals.
Right.
And I didn't
I had
feel deprived.
I had somebody ask me in one of my Berry Nation classes, like, 'cause I teach meal prep classes there. Listen, I surround myself with meal prep. That's how I stay on track. If I just fully, if I go all in on something, there's no avoiding it. But in one of my classes, I had one of the ladies say to me, because I always say, give me suggestions. I love a challenge. So if you're like, hey, how can we make this, but make it fit our goals? She was like, I just really want like some lasagna. And I'm
Oh
like, that's
yeah.
easy. Instead
Yeah.
of making multiple layers, just do 2 lasagna layers, do 2 of
Mhm.
the pasta layers, and
Yeah.
then load that sucker with meat and maybe
Mhm.
mix half cottage cheese and half ricotta. Like now you're getting your protein in there. You're still getting the layers of the pasta, but it's not like multiple layers of pasta. Just
Yeah.
do 2. One,
Yeah.
one
And
for a base layer and then one more. Call it a
yeah.
day.
Yeah. And when I used to make lasagna for my kids, because I was poor, all we did was cottage cheese. I couldn't afford ricotta.
Right,
So,
right. Yeah.
so I'm
You're
used to
ahead
that
of the
anyway.
trend.
Yeah. But, yeah. Or if you want to get crazy with it, like we've done eggplant instead of pasta, and that's
Mhm.
really good. I mean,
Yeah.
or the eggplant like roll ups. You can still
Yeah.
get a lasagna feel. You can still put the ricotta in there, and you still get those flavors. It's just modifying it to fit within your goals.
Right. Yep. And
Hmm.
if you think you have an idea for something, I promise you, if you type it in the Google search bar, you're gonna
Yeah,
find something. You're gonna
yeah,
find. You might think you're in left field, but you're gonna find it. Somebody else has
yeah,
done it.
for sure,
Um,
for
some of
sure.
the things, some of the things I have going on. So last week, and you may not like sweet potatoes, so maybe it's not your thing, but I know we love them. So I'll
Yes,
incorporate them here and there. Not to say that I don't eat a regular ass white potato because I do,
I
but
do.
I especially especially something in the fall, I really want to get into sweet potatoes more and more. But I did and you would have liked this one, Jussie. It was a stuffed sweet potato. This was a plant-based one, and it was black bean, kale, um, squash, and then it got seasoned with kind of like a little bit of cumin and made it a little bit
Mm,
spicy, and it got a squeeze of
yeah.
lime juice on it. So that was really good, and that was all vegetarian. Um, and then what else did I have? Oh, I made a turkey noodle casserole because listen,
Hmm.
after Thanksgiving, right? Everybody has a bunch of turkey left over.
Yep.
And what do you do with the turkey? Well, the same thing. Like you're like, oh, noodles, pasta, whatever. Same thing that Jussie just mentioned. I just made it more turkey than you normally would.
Hmm.
And I made the pasta instead of like the egg noodles, I did the protein pasta. So
Hmm.
that way we're hitting goals that way. So I made this one for 392 calories, 30 grams of protein, 40 carbs, and 14 fat. So it was the pasta, turkey, peas, corn, and it had like a savory cream sauce and topped with cheddar cheese. But the cream sauce wasn't really cream. It was just like the turkey stock and thickened it up a bit. So you just got to get those flavors there, but find the other ways of like doing it. And then so this week I'm doing a barbecue meatloaf. So it's going to be a turkey meatloaf that just gets a sugar-free barbecue sauce on top, and then a sweet potato mash. So the sweet potato mash I'm making has Greek yogurt. So that's how I'm making it creamy.
Yeah.
So I'm not doing butter or anything like that. It's literally the vanilla Oikos Pro. And then I do some cinnamon, salt, and pepper, and that's it. And it's really, really good. And then
see, I'm so basic when I do my meatloaf. I do meatloaf, and I do the sugar-free barbecue on there, and then I do plain sweet potato because I'm
yeah,
just so basic. Like
yeah.
I just put that shit in the oven and bake it, or put it. I'll even put one. I even buy the ones that are in the plastic and like throw it in the microwave and just cut it open and eat half of it.
Those are super easy, especially if you're just
Yeah.
making like one of them too.
Because it's just me. Like I'm
Right,
not
exactly.
prepping. See, this is a difference too. I'm not prepping for anybody else. And so it's just me, and I like it. It's fine. I put some salt and pepper on there. I'm happy. If I was prepping for somebody else, I would be a little more fancy because I love to
Yeah,
cook for people and I love to
right,
make people happy, and I'm happy with what I cook.
right,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
So you have a whole ass family you have to cook for. And so it adds a lot of layers into that. And maybe
Hmm.
we should talk about that with people with families who are picky, like I don't even know how I would deal with that. So I mean,
Right,
like y'all are on your own.
right. We'll get it. Let me go through this and then we'll talk about that for a minute because I got a little bit of that too.
Yeah.
So I did that with green beans. That one's just under 500 calories, a little bit more, but it's 38 grams of protein, 34 carbs, 23 fat. So that one is over the 400, but it's still under 500, which is considered mindful when you stay under 500.
Yeah.
I'm doing a sushi bowl so I can keep it plant-based, but at the same time, this is for my business, I have the option for people to add shrimp. I will eat mine with the ginger garlic shrimp on it. So this one is just brown rice that gets topped with edamame, cucumber, bell pepper, mango, carrots, scallions, and then like the nori paper that you would use to roll up sushi. I just chop some of that up and put it on top. So you get all the flavors of sushi, but you don't have to roll the sushi. And using brown rice just so you have a more complex carb. And then it gets served with soy sauce and a sriracha mayo on the side. So you're getting all of like the sushi flavors, but in a bowl. And that one is a little bit less on the protein unless you add the shrimp to it. So that one comes to right around 500 calories too with the shrimp, but then you're also getting 24 grams of protein. So that's more of like a splurgy thing. And like Justy said, I would probably do that for lunch because it's like rice heavy.
And you're not going to do the splurgy meals. So for me, I know I plan my meals, so I know what I'm eating. I knew the other day I was going to go to see the Hornets play, and I was going to go to dinner, and I knew I wanted a burger because when I want a burger, I want like a bar burger. I want like a nasty burger. And so I knew I was doing that, and I was okay with it because we don't restrict ourselves. I don't eat burgers every week.
Right.
But for lunch, I had a salad. And for breakfast, I had, my egg whites. I didn't put cheese, just little modifications throughout the day so that that burger would fit into
Right.
my day,
Right.
my week.
And so if I was eating that, the other thing that I do is I typically try to do some kind of soup. And I know you, especially when it's colder out, you'll do soup too.
I'm soup
So
girl.
this week I have a white bean chicken chili on there.
Mm.
And this one, for 1 cup of it, because you're talking about chicken breast is just like straight up low calorie protein. And then you add the beans into it too. So that one's for a cup, 287 calories and 25 grams of protein. So I might just have that like
Yeah.
as my dinner, like you said, like get those complex carbs in earlier in the day. So I would eat the sushi bowl at lunch and then have the white bean chicken chili for dinner. And that way you're getting like super low calorie for higher protein, still got a little carb in it because you've got beans and some veggies and stuff in there, but I would go that route. And then last week I did a lentil soup. So sometimes I do it with meat, sometimes I don't. But yeah,
I did
that's
a cabbage soup when my friend was here from Florida. It was really good. And I had chicken, and actually, you know what? I'm so easy and basic. I just had a rotisserie chicken. I just peeled that, like pulled it apart and threw it in the soup because I didn't want to cook the chicken. I just wanted to make the damn soup real quick.
And the beauty of soup is you can make a pot of it,
Mm-hmm.
eat it throughout the week, and then when you're like, I've had enough,
freeze
freeze
it.
that shit.
Yeah.
Pull it back
And
out.
we
I have
use the freezer a lot.
Yes, I have
Yeah.
a bag of
Mhm.
chili in the freezer now, like a regular ass chili. And
Mhm.
actually I'm going to hang out with my Kim and Dre of my girlfriends this
Yay.
weekend. And I'm like, I'm away until tomorrow. I come home Friday night and I'm going to see them Saturday. And we usually like, I don't want to call it potluck, but everybody brings something. And I was
Mhm.
like, girl, I don't know what I'm gonna bring because I'm not even home.
Right.
Like, wait a minute, I have chili in the freezer. What if I pull that out and
Mhm.
like bring that with me? She was like, perfect. So that's easy. I don't have to like stress myself out. So it's always nice to have something in the freezer for like that. I'm away, I'm coming home, and I don't
Right.
like, what am I going to make? So to that note, too, actually I was talking to Isaac about this yesterday when we were talking about meal prep. I'm like, Justy, I'll let you speak to it some, but when she has a hectic whatever schedule, she can't get to meal prep or she's traveling and she comes home and she knows she's got to hop right back to work,
Mhm.
she orders a meal prep service called Clean Eat. So go ahead and
Yeah.
talk about what you'll do with like that, or if you order
Yeah.
like your Chinese food and separate that out, because it's not
Yeah.
always, we don't always have the time to make the food ourselves.
Right, because I get really busy, as we all do, and I travel a lot. And so if I know I'm traveling, I don't keep groceries in my house other than what I'm meal prepping.
Right. So
I don't have a
when the world comes to an end, she's come to my house because we could live
I will
we could live off
starve,
of that food
right?
for a while.
Yeah, yeah, I could live in Steph's pantry for like 4 months, but I only buy what I'm meal prepping and my snacks. Like that's it. You open my refrigerator, it's like at the end of the week, it's condiments. Like that's it.
Right.
So I don't like to waste food. And so when I know I'm traveling, I will get Clean Eats. I order 10 meals and usually we'll eat them the day or two before and throw them in the freezer. And when I come back, I know I can just have like a few more days worth of food that I don't have to worry about it. Or if I
Mhm.
have a really, really busy week where I'm like doing morning bake and I have meetings all day and I'm trying to get a work in at night because I worked at 4 in the morning, I will order those as well. And so that's really helpful for me. Or I will get Chinese food but I'll just split it into 4 portions instead of eating that whole ass thing in one. Or I will sometimes order, let's say, a pizza me 3 days instead of eating it all at once. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So there's times when I do eat out. I usually eat out like once a week, honestly, because I have a social life. But like I said, with the burger, I plan it and then I stick to my plan. And I'm like, not like, oh, well, fuck it. I mean, I guess I did have a fuck it when my friend was here because I had like 8 beers and 2 shots at the bar and I never drink. But that was fun.
I wish I would have been there to see that,
Oh,
man.
it was fun. We had a great time.
Right.
Um,
It would be like one of our cruises.
Yeah. Oh Lord. Oh,
Brrr.
this video. And which is crazy though, because I did go on a cruise last year. I think it was last year. I don't remember. We went to St. Croix and I was like, wow, I'm such a different person. I got off subject there, but I'm such a different person because we used to go on the cruise and our mission was to eat and drink. And now my mission was to work out
Yeah.
and
We
like
would make 2 days out
explore.
of one day. We would
Oh
wake up
yeah.
and start with Bloody Marys,
Yep.
stuff our face at breakfast, get shit
Sleep.
faced, then go take a nap, and then start all over again
Yep.
get ourselves prettied up for dinner and bingo, and
Right.
get shit faced again.
Right.
Maybe throw up, maybe not, and
Right.
then go to
That
pass
was me.
out. Right back.
That was me.
Sorry, housekeeping, pass out, and then wake up in the morning and do it all over again. And we
Yeah.
just don't, I mean, we
Yeah.
live that life. That's,
Mhm.
that life.
Loved it.
I don't regret that life, to
No,
be honest.
no,
I don't. It's who we
no.
were. It's what we had fun doing, but we found a different way, and it's what suits us in our elderly
And
age.
and we didn't find it overnight. We didn't
Right.
become these food prepping, planning, you know, badass women overnight. It was a lot of I'm gonna prep and I'm gonna eat no carbs, I'm gonna eat no sugar. And there was a lot of failure in it. And I just refuse to fail anymore. I'm not gonna set myself up for failure anymore.
Right.
But all of that has taught us what we know now. And that's why we're willing to share it. And someone had posted earlier today on Instagram, like, I wasn't unhappy when I was 300 pounds. I lived a great life. I did
Right.
shit. We went on cruises. I had,
We were still traveling.
you
Right.
know,
We just did it a
I
little
could
differently.
I could pull in some good looking men. I could,
We swam
do
with dolphins. Yeah.
we swam with dolphins. Our careers were great. We weren't unhappy, but we were not healthy, and now
Right.
we're happy and healthy, and that's like an
Right.
awesome, glorious combination.
Right. Yep.
So
And I'm traveling now because I'm away for a work trip, as you can tell by the lovely hotel behind me. And so I'm eating out every night. I don't have a choice, and all of my
mhm,
meals are out. But like Justy, I was talking to her when I was picking up my food on the way to the hotel. She's like, "Ooh, what'd you get?" And I'm like, "Well, to be honest with like the first night I went to this, because I've been to this hotel before and I know across the street is an Italian restaurant that makes their own pasta, and I had it
love
before and it
fresh
was
pasta.
banging. Like, who
Yeah.
passes that up, right?
Right,
So I
right.
went there my first night, but that platter that I got, that meal that I got was my meal for 2 days.
Yeah.
I brought it home. I brought it back to the hotel because you might be able to see somewhat.
Mhm,
I have a full ass kitchen back there. So I brought it back with me, put it in the fridge, and then I heated it up the next
mhm.
day and had it. And I didn't even finish that, but I was like, I'm tapping out because I'm gonna get some other good food around here.
Right.
I had fish and chips. I also didn't eat the whole I ate like maybe 4 fries, I'm not gonna
Mhm.
lie. And the old me would have ate that whole ass
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
Some of the fish, like
Yeah.
maybe 4 fries, and then, tonight, she's like, "Oh, what did you get?" And I'm like, "To be honest, this restaurant, it's a really, good kind of fun restaurant, but they have, it's called Clean Living. They have a
Mhm,
section of the menu called Clean Living, and so you order kinda à la carte your parts to it. So I got the steak tips, and cauliflower mac and cheese, so I didn't
mhm.
have to have, like, the protein starch inside. I wanted to feel good about what I ate, but I also got, and I didn't eat all of that either. I didn't eat all of any of it, but I got a whipped ricotta, and it came with this really delicious, like a Tuscan white bread that had olive oil and was grilled, and then you ate the ricotta on that. I only ate the one piece of bread and half of the ricotta because that's all the tiny tummy could handle. But I still made good choices. Like, I'm gonna have something that's delicious because I'm out of town and I want to explore. But I ate off of the clean living menu because it's like, well, if I'm gonna have that ricotta that's gonna have that delicious bread, then I don't need all the other bullshit. I'm
Right,
just gonna get these
right.
steak tips and this cauliflower mac and cheese, which is essentially like a
And
cauliflower gratin.
and it's interesting because in this conversation, multiple times you said, "I didn't eat all of it. I didn't eat all of it. I didn't eat all of it," because you can't.
Right,
Someone like me, I can.
right.
So that is a hard, for me, that was the hardest thing to figure out where my hunger, like when I was actually hungry and when to
Mhm,
stop. And I had to
mhm.
fail a lot and overeat a lot in order to figure that out. So that's hard for me. And I've learned
Right.
that when I do eat out, I have to decide when the food comes, I look at it and I decide what I'm eating, how much of it. And if I'm
Mhm.
eating the whole burger, I'm eating the whole fucking burger. But if
Yeah,
I'm only eating half, I'm only eating half. And so
yeah.
it's kind of like I ate the whole burger the other night and I was like, that burger was sitting with me in the morning still. I
Mhm.
shouldn't have ate it. And then that's like, okay, well, that's a reminder. I'm not going to gain 300 pounds. I'm not going to be 300 pounds because I ate one whole burger one time in a month.
Right.
You know
Yeah,
what
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean? It's like all the other stuff that I do on a daily basis to prepare myself, for a healthy life. And that's the difference, but that's a huge difference between bariatric patients and non-bariatric is that you guys have a stop tool, and now your tool you can blow that out, right?
Yes,
But
you
I don't
certainly
have
can.
that stop tool, so it's more of a like prepare tool,
Right. And
right?
because I've never been good at that. I even with the partial stomach, I have overdone it.
Mm-hmm.
And and I probably would have a lot more. So that tool, like, that's how I know bariatric surgery was the right decision for me. Like, I still need that stopping mechanism every once in a while. I
Mm-hmm.
do pretty good with like rationalizing. Same thing. I'll look at it, I'll get a whole ass burger. I can't eat a whole burger if I wanted to, but I
Yeah.
also don't want to be like, oh, no bun, I'll just cut it with a knife. I want to have that experience, so I'll eat a burger, I'll take 2 bites of it, and then I take the bun off because I just want that feel. I want to scratch that itch. So I'll get it, then I'll start cutting it up, and then sometimes even then still I have to say that's all I can do, and I don't even finish the actual the rest of the burger. And I'll have like maybe 2 fries because I want fries. I just don't need
Yeah.
the whole order of fries.
Right. And that's the same thing when I eat out. I'm not eating out. Like, I'm not going to McDonald's unless, listen, I'll be honest. Lord, I can't believe I'm saying this. If they have the McRib, I'm going there. Once a year, just once a year. I let myself have it once a year. I don't know why I love that thing, but it's delicious. So once a year,
You
I'll
realize
have
that's
it.
not a rib, right?
I know it's not a rib. I know it's not even real meat. I don't even know what kind of meat it is, but I see the sign like January, February, and I'm like, I'm gonna get my one McRib. But if I'm gonna go out to eat and I'm gonna spend money to go out to eat, I'm gonna fucking go somewhere awesome. And I'm
And
gonna
eat those
enjoy it.
calories. Because the
Yeah.
calories that you're getting out of what you would eat at McDonald's, you could get a whole
Yes.
ass gourmet meal for those calories.
Yes. Yes. And so I don't
Yes,
do it, but I don't do it like I used to. We worked in restaurants. We ate restaurant food every day,
every day.
sometimes breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I'm
Yeah,
talking steaks, au gratin potatoes, like mac and
right.
cheese, like all the things. And
And the thing is you don't know what we know what
we know
restaurants
it.
cook
Yeah.
with their phase and
Right.
the
Face
shit that they put on
weird
food
butter.
to make it taste good. Like, listen, these restaurants have people who study this shit, who
Mhm.
study what it is that people like, what makes them
Crazy.
tick, and it's the sweet and the savory and the combination of all this stuff, and they know exactly what it is, and they're going to give it to you, so you're going to buy it.
Yeah.
So restaurants will fuck with you.
Yeah.
They will put it in front of you for you to buy it. They're not there for your health. Let's be
Right.
real.
No, they're not. And
They're not.
I have bakeries, so we're definitely not there for your health.
Yes, exactly. And so, but you have to just know how to navigate a menu. You have to know, maybe you get the burger and you ask them not to butter the bun.
Mhm.
Maybe you like our steaks, like
Steak
even our
love. No
steaks, we
steak
used to
love.
put butter on it. Like just tell them no butter, because
Yeah.
butter is not, listen, butter's delicious.
Eat
I
butter.
still eat butter. But
Mhm.
if you want to make a small cut somewhere, because that's it. That's how Justy lost her weight, was making small cuts here and there. And maybe
Mhm.
you just say, like no butter or no oil on like the steak or on when you grill my chicken or whatever it
Mhm.
is. Like you can ask for little things like that. Now don't go hog wild, because they're gonna end up like they're gonna drop your steak in the deep fryer. Don't go crazy on these, because these cooks do not care.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
so half of them are convicted felons, so they don't care. Right? So
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
do dumb shit. However, you can ask them to leave the butter off of something. Like
Mhm.
you can
Or the
make
sauce on
small
the side, or the
accommodations.
dressing
Right.
on the side,
Dressing on the side. Make the
or
small
things like that.
accommodations.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I did lose weight by making small changes, and I think the biggest change I know the biggest change I made was figuring out that eating till I was full and stuffed was not the purpose of eating. I
Mm-hmm.
thought that was my purpose of eating, was
Mm-hmm.
to feel full and stuffed and gross. And then when
Mm-hmm.
I stopped doing that, when I got to a place where I don't do that now, when that happens, it's horrible. It's horrible. And so that's our body saying, bitch, you ate too much. And we're not listening. We don't
You
listen
just
to our
need to be
body.
satisfied, not full, just
Yes.
satisfied.
And if
Just
you eat
no
till
longer
full,
hungry.
yeah, if you eat until stuffed or full, feeling every single meal, you are overeating, and I don't give a shit what it is. If it's a salad, it's too much. Because your
Right.
body, that feeling, your body is saying, ding, ding, too much. And then
Right.
you do that and do that and do that. And then you start gaining weight. And your body is saying, too much. And then you don't listen. And then you start getting knees that hurt. That's your body saying, too much. And you don't
Right.
listen. And then, oh, I have high blood pressure and I can't walk up steps. Like your body tells you, and it all
Right.
starts with minimizing the amount of food you eat. And
Yeah.
then you work on what food you
What
eat.
you're eating. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just
Hmm.
making those small little changes. Nobody's
Hmm.
saying to January 1st you throw it all out the window and eat salads and chicken
No,
and broccoli every day, because
no,
we never did that. We never
no.
ever did that.
In
Even
between,
listen, even when I was in the damn puree phase, look, I
uh-huh.
had puree. What did I make? Reubens. I would take like the I didn't even do turkey. I did corned beef, and I chopped it up. Like I did all of that, but chopped up. I'm still gonna eat good. It's just gonna be
Yeah.
like it's gonna be mush, but it's gonna be good.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I never did that. I never thought that I was gonna ever eat like boiled chicken and steamed broccoli for the rest of my life. I just didn't like, that's not
No,
reality. You're
that's
never
not
gonna
living.
sustain that. Yes, you're not gonna sustain that.
There's some people out there, believe it or not,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
food does not control them. And they're like, I dated a guy for a long time that he just food did nothing for his joy. Should have been the biggest red flag, but whatever. So like it was like he could take it or leave it.
Right.
And I'm like, what? I don't understand that. We
Right.
cannot. And so you're listening to this podcast, so you obviously identify with us.
Right. You didn't get
But
we didn't get to over 300 pounds by
no,
food not having a
but we
chokehold
did
on us.
not lose over 100. We've lost 260 pounds if you add us together. We did not lose that weight eating chicken and broccoli
Right.
and rice. Like,
Yeah.
no, we did it by preparing. We did it by listening to our hunger. We did it by sticking to our promise to ourselves every day.
Mhm.
And when we didn't beat ourselves up. And we
Right.
just kept on rolling. And then we,
Right.
you know, every decision you can control. And, you know, eventually we lost weight and we work out.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm going to backtrack real quick to when we were talking about picky eaters. So if you have a family and you have picky eaters and
Mhm.
whatnot, and Lord knows I do. So my husband is vegetarian, who is now we'll call pescatarian because he will eat seafood, and we eat a decent amount of seafood at home. My daughter, well, my stepdaughter, but you know I claim her like she's mine. She loves seafood. She is a picky eater, but she's picky in a bougie way. She eats raw oysters. Like she's picky, but she's not like your picky like chicken tender and mac and cheese kid. She'll eat
Right.
mac and cheese, but it's got to be good mac and cheese. She doesn't want that Kraft shit. You know what I mean? Like she's picky, but
Yeah.
in a different way, and that's
Yeah.
partially our fault because we feed like I'm a chef and my husband's kind of a foodie and in the restaurant industry as well, and so she's picky in a different sense. And so, and I tell her all the time, like, Chelsea, you can't be food bougie every day. Like you say,
Right.
it's not gonna, I'm not gonna tell a child it's not an orgasm in her mouth. I tell her she can't be food bougie. You
Right.
can't be food bougie. Yeah,
Mhm.
every once in a while, yes, but every meal, she's like, oh, I just don't, it's squishy. The chicken's squishy.
Listen,
Shut
my
up and
dad,
eat the chicken.
my dad went, girl, you're not hungry enough.
Right. Right. Like, what are you talking about? It's like I gave her chicken wings and she carried the plate. She looked right at me like guilty as hell too. Brought the plate back to the kitchen and I'm like, there's a lot of chicken left on that. She's like, it's squishy.
Mm,
What?
yeah.
Then you must not be hungry then.
Right. Right.
But she'll get food
You'll get
bougie.
hungry enough. My dad would be like, set that plate over there. You'd be hungry enough to eat it.
Right. So she'll get food bougie on me like, oh, well, I don't want like that. I want sushi or I want like she'll want stuff like that. So she's picky in that sense. Now my stepson, on the other hand, he's picky in another sense. You can't put a condiment on anything. He eats his hot dogs dry. Neither one of them will eat burgers.
Wow.
Everything's with barbecue sauce. The one thing we can all agree on is salad. So
Yeah.
luckily we have that going for us. He doesn't really care for a lot of vegetarian stuff. I have to really disguise it well for him.
Yeah.
But it has to be like a meat alternative that he doesn't he doesn't do tofu. So
Mhm.
we're a bit of a conflicting house. So when he is there, I figure out the things that I know that he'll eat because I don't feel like dealing with the fight of like not wanting to eat it. I just don't put sauce on things. I'll put it on the side because I
Mhm.
know he doesn't want the sauce on it. Things like that. But also at the same time, it's not the end of the world to have to make two things at once. We
Right.
like burgers, the kids like hot dogs. I'm gonna make
Yeah.
them their hot dogs. I'm gonna make us
Yeah.
our burgers. And
Or
for
if
that
you're
matter,
doing food prep, you can prepare ahead of time when they come, you know?
yes, exactly. And even when we do burgers, my husband will eat an Impossible Burger and I'll eat a turkey burger.
Yeah.
So I'll make things that are all in the same family, burgers and
Right.
dogs, but we're all having something different in there.
Well, and I laugh, not laugh, but it's interesting because I get people all the time, well, my husband doesn't like to eat healthy, but that doesn't mean you can't eat healthy. If you choose to cook for your husband, fine. Like if I had a husband, I'd cook for him. But if he didn't like healthy food like I do, he probably wouldn't be my husband. But whole
Right.
nother story.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean you have to. That's an excuse. Oh, my husband, he eats a lot of fast food, but that doesn't mean you have to eat it. Like
Right. Let him get that fast food and you go
you don't
ahead and
even,
fix your meal.
you know what's really fucked up? You don't even have to eat dinner if you're not hungry.
Right.
Like I have set out to dinner with my friends and enjoyed their company and didn't eat when they were eating because I
Right.
wasn't hungry.
Right.
You know what I mean? And before old Justy, she would have been like appetizers, food. Like I just ate 2 hours ago, but I'm still gonna get all this stuff.
Right. Exactly.
You know, but you can enjoy people's company without eating. It is absolutely possible. And that's a lot of times that's what I'll do. I'll do like I belong to a women's group and we do charity things. And we had like a charity event, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna eat my prep meal before I go because I know there's gonna be snacks and food and stuff there, and I'm just not gonna eat it. Um, and you
Yeah.
know, I'm gonna have a little snack when I come home. I knew I wanted the yogurt when I came home, and I was looking forward to my yogurt. And
Ain't
so
that some shit? Yogurt is our snack now. I eat yogurt almost every night.
yeah, I eat
Because
yogurt a lot.
like
Or
if I want
protein
something,
pudding.
yeah, if I want something like a little sweet at night, like, but I don't want a whole ass like cake or dessert or cupcake or
Mhm.
candy, I'll do the Chobani flips. They're higher in sugar, but I feel like that's a good compromise between having like a dessert
Yeah.
and still I'm still getting 16 grams protein. We're
And
getting
I do
14 grams
protein
protein out of
pudding.
it. Yeah,
So
or
I'll
protein
do,
pudding, yeah.
yeah, I'll do 2 shakes to 1 pack of sugar-free instant pudding, and that divided it
Mhm.
to 4. So that's 15 grams of protein per, and not even 100 calories.
Right.
And it is almost like what I don't know if pudding has carbs in it, but the protein shakes are
And
lower
it does,
carb. So
yeah,
yeah,
they're lower carb, but it'll still have a little
yeah,
nothing worth
but nothing
mentioning, yeah.
crazy. I'm not. It's
Yeah.
not like I'm eating a whole thing of potato salad.
Right. And you could go all wild and even put some like sugar-free or low-fat like whipped topping on it.
I
Ooh,
do.
get real
I
risque.
listen. I am a whipped cream. I'm a whipped topping girl.
Me
I get
too.
the fat free. No, I do the sugar free one. I put that on my coffee some mornings. I put it on my I put it on my pudding. I put it on my yogurt,
Right.
and I like mix it up, and it's like cream, like airier or whatever.
Right. Almost
Listen,
like a mousse. Yeah.
I'll put that whipped cream on anything.
Listen,
You know.
I do know. Oh,
Anyways.
do I know you? Yes, I do.
I'm sorry, Mom. That one
Both
probably went
moms.
over Miss
All the
Linda's
moms.
head anyway, though.
Right. Sorry for all the moms because both of mine listen and your
Oh.
mom. And so there's that. But anyway, yeah. So that's just it. Like, I think the moral of this whole story is don't box yourself into thinking
No.
that you have to eat boiled chicken and steamed broccoli for the rest of your life, or
No
that
carbs.
B, it doesn't have to be black and white and
No.
all or nothing.
Yeah.
And C, don't think that you have to eat what everyone else is eating.
Right.
Like it is okay. Nope. I have not yet died by making 2 separate meals or
No.
by pulling one of my meal preps out because my husband will, I'll make something. He'll be like, well, what are are you not eating? I'm like, well, I have a meal prep. Like, I'm just gonna pull my meal prep out and you guys eat that. It still throws him off a bit if I don't eat the same thing that they do. I think he's
Yeah.
getting used to it now, but like, who cares if we went to a restaurant, we're not all sitting down and eating the same
The
thing.
same
So who
thing,
cares if you're
right?
doing it at home or not?
Right.
It's not like, well,
And-
I'm having the chicken parmesan here, so you all are also getting the chicken parmesan here. Like that doesn't work that way.
Right.
So it's
And
okay.
also like the office food or whatever, like the donuts. Like I never like died because I didn't eat the donut. I felt guilty because I have.
Right.
I've had the donuts throw me off my track for a few days. I've
Right.
had the donut, give me all the guilt and I'm going to do better tomorrow, feelings and that sort of thing. But not eating the donut, the only thing it gave me was pride.
Right.
The sticking to my plan, the only thing it gave me was pride, and building up pride and building up confidence that I can walk by a donut and not eat it and be okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Mhm. Because if you're going to eat the calories of like a donut, first of all, I'm going to need it to be a banging ass donut.
like,
Because a lot of times the ones that go in that break room are stale.
stale. Yeah.
It's the leftover shit from a meeting or from someone else didn't
Yeah.
want, right? Now, listen, there's starving people out there and they would love to eat the hell out of that donut, but we're not
Right.
starving. We look
Right.
like we have not missed a meal in a minute, so we are okay.
I
And so like, yeah, you don't have to eat that. If you're going to eat, I just feel like if I'm going to eat those calories, I'm going to need it to be good, like real
Right.
good. That
Right,
sugar.
like I'm gonna go to my bakery and get a layered torte.
Exactly. Like I don't go to Charlotte and eat any old thing. I'm going there and I'm like, when we going to Amelie's or what? Because like, I'm gonna get some good stuff, and I always bring some macarons home. Like, because I know like that's worth it. To me, that's
Yeah.
worth it.
Mhm.
And I'm not eating it all the time, so I'll just get it to bring it home. The last time I brought some home, they were like, "That's all you brought?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's all I brought."
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
but just yeah.
it is when you, and for me, the biggest thing is like non-bariatric is knowing my limit and sticking to it. And my plan is so important to me. Steph knows, like, if I don't have a goal or a plan, I don't do good at flailing. Like, I just don't. And so we talked about that earlier for a different
Yeah.
situation, but it's like, I need to know like what's next. And I used to not be like that. I used to be like, fly by the seat of my pants. But I was also like, partied all the time and
Right.
was a hot mess and
And being
fat.
spontaneous can be fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
oh, I
exactly.
can do it.
Spontaneous can be fun, but if your whole life is spontaneous, you're
No bueno.
likely to do more grab ass eating. You're
Mhm.
likely you can't even say eat off plan because there never was a plan to begin with.
Right. Yeah.
So
Uh-huh.
it's like, who the hell know? Like, you're just really winging it.
And also with me and personally, and I don't know if other people that way, I have a plan, but listen, I have 5 bakeries. I know my work plan is going to be fucked up by the end of the day, right? So I'm good at adjusting my plan. So it's
Right.
not like, oh, my whole world's thrown off because I couldn't eat what I was supposed to for
Right.
lunch today, right?
Right.
That's
It's
I'm not going to use
annoying. Like, you might get
yeah.
annoyed by it, but it's not the end of the world.
Right. Or if I make plans with Steph and then she can't come to Charlotte for some reason, it's not like, well, maybe I would be really upset with you, just you. But it's like, well, shit happens. Like, my world's not coming to an end, but at least I had that goal and that plan. And 9 times out of 10, I'm going to stick to it. It's
Right.
you know what I mean?
Yep.
I just got all my rings. I don't know how I'm sitting here. Get all excited.
That's one way of doing it. That's so Isaac we'll be sitting there and watching TV, and Isaac's like, I'm like, dude, what are you doing? He's like, get my steps. I'm like, your feet aren't moving. That's not steps. He's like, yeah, they are.
It's still
Jesus Christ.
movement.
Whatever.
But anyway, so that was our meal plan. What do we eat? How do we think about food? Kind of hodgepodge potpourri of all things food, I
Yeah.
guess.
And you just take what you want out of that. Like I said, because if you're now listen, if you're trying to lose weight, you need to be in a calorie deficit. So maybe you do need to count calories. We just don't.
Yeah.
We did for a little while, but like we don't. Or if you just need to know where you are, maybe every once in a while you throw something in the tracker. Or if you're saying, I've been doing everything, I've been eating well and whatnot, and nothing's happening. We had Jeannie Boyer on a while ago. Like she said, just write it down. You don't have to put it in a tracker, but write it down so that way you are capturing those 3 Hershey Kisses that you ate
And
out
I
of your
did
desk.
that when I first, on the part of my journey, I would make my plan every morning. And then at the end of the night, I evaluated my plan and I would circle the things that I could have not eaten. Right.
Mhm.
And then the next day I tried to do better.
Mhm. Yeah.
And then I would be like, oh, well, today was a good day, check mark. And then, oh, today, oh, let me circle those Hershey Kisses. Let me circle that, whatever. So in my mind, I was saying, okay, that is something I could have actually done without. Like, it didn't make my day better. It was a
Mhm.
craving and it
Yeah.
was an instant gratification. And I had to teach myself not to give into that craving or instant gratification with a lot of things, with shopping, with men, with food, I mean,
Right.
it's all changed for me.
And yeah, and that makes me think too, like, it all sounds exhausting listening to like all of this, that how we plan it and how we think about it. It sounds exhausting, but you want to know what? End of the day, we're
So much
food
easier.
addicts. We're
Yeah.
obese. Like, this is
Yeah.
how there's nobody if you're fighting a drug addiction, you don't just one day wake up and you're all better. Like,
And you
you
never
still
think
have
about it again.
right, you still have to do the work to
And you
like
plan.
to stay on track.
You go to
It's no
meetings.
different. Yes, exactly.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yes, it may sound exhausting. So you can either be tired and exhausted from having to think about it so much, or you can be tired and exhausted from carrying that extra weight around and just not having the energy to do anything. So you got to choose your hard and choose your tired. It is tiring to, like, sometimes I'm like, God damn, like it just takes a lot of like mental capacity to like plan this and plan that and eat this and not eat that and no and I looked and my tracker and this and it's a lot. It can be a lot, but you don't have to make it more overwhelming by like being dramatic about it.
Being dramatic. And because I had said in one of my posts on Instagram that, like, I always make eggs for breakfast. And somebody commented, like, how do you make your eggs? Do you scramble them? Do you omelet them? Do you whatever? Do you boil them? And I'm like, just fucking make the eggs. It doesn't
End
matter
of the
how I
day,
make
it's the
my
same
eggs.
fucking calories, however you do your 2 eggs.
Matter how I make my eggs. Just make
Right.
eggs however you want to make eggs, but it's not that serious. Like it's
It's
not
not.
that. It's really not that dramatic. Just make the damn eggs,
Right,
or
exactly.
whatever it is you're making, but just have a plan for it.
Don't drown them in butter and
No. Or bacon grease.
right,
You know?
exactly.
But
Yeah,
anyway.
just keep it simple. Keep it simple
Yeah.
because listen, it's exhausting enough. The rest of it's exhausting enough. So just try to simplify it.
Yep. And I think this, so our next one, we're going to have at the beginning of February, right? It's going to be one that is going to be kind of about, all right, how did y'all do in January? And, keep on going. Like, it's hard. Let's figure it out together type of thing. Some
Actually, I
motivation.
think it will be, I don't have my, because we're on my phone, but I think it'll be end of January, but either way.
Okay. Yeah, end of January. And then I think I'm trying to line up for Valentine's Day for that week. I think it will probably be that week. A lady who deals with sexuality and sexuality during your different stages of weight loss. And I think for me, that would be very, very important. And I think I'll probably learn a lot, but I'll have a lot to talk about. Actually, unfortunately, not a lot to talk about. But
Listen, you got
change.
experience,
We're
okay?
trying to change that. So I think that'll be really fun to kind of just be really open about sexuality throughout our weight loss.
Because it
And
changes. It has changed.
yes, yes. And it changes through your age too. Like,
Right.
I mean, I'm in my prime.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And you've got a brand new Cadillac you're driving around. So like,
and I got a brand new Cadillac in my prime, and I can't find a damn passenger. So anyway, or a good passenger. I mean, I can find a passenger, but
one that's worthy
sometimes-
of sitting in your passenger
sometimes
seat.
you'd rather drive yourself.
Right, exactly.
But anyway, so yeah, so talking about sexuality is going to be fun, especially for me. I'm that girl. And yeah, that's what we got coming up.
Yeah, and I think we're also going to try to, we briefly talked about, and I don't know how we're going to go about it, but if we're going to stick with February being, Valentine's Day, Heart Month kind of thing, I think we might try to dive into just the heart health benefit type
Yep.
of thing of losing weight. And I have someone in mind, and I'll see if maybe they'd be willing to come on and talk. We like having guests, we decided. We really want to have
Yeah.
more guests.
Yeah.
Not that we're not fabulous ladies, but this is honestly what we do here now. Like, first of all, we talked about it my whole drive home and picking up my dinner tonight, and then we just re-talked about it again. So this is shit that Justy and I could just talk to each other about all day long anyway.
Right.
We just invite you all to listen to the conversation, but we do enjoy having guests come on because they bring just a whole nother level of knowledge.
Yes.
So,
Yep. And
so
so
February,
if you think
February
you would be a
15th,
good guest, or some guest or
Yeah.
a topic, just let us know. I think that would be really fun. And
Yeah.
even if it's just bringing on somebody that's had their own weight loss journey, they don't have to be an expert, but in anything,
Yeah.
just have someone who has that journey.
has a story to tell.
Yeah,
because
just
everybody can relate to somebody. If you're part of
Right.
the community, like social media community, weight loss community, you relate to somebody.
yeah,
And it's not always going to be me and Justy.
right.
You relate to
Right.
somebody. So I think maybe we'll work in bringing on just another weight loss, whether it be surgical or non-surgical guests to come on and just tell their story. I think we should incorporate that every once in a while and just
Yeah, I think
more
so
of those
too.
in.
And I would really like to incorporate more people that didn't have bariatric surgery, because a lot of our people that we have on are bariatric specialists, right? I think all of them we've had or in the bariatric surgery realm. So I'd like to find somebody who's had a really good journey. Actually, I just had somebody pop in my head, so I'll ask her. Just a natural journey to tell how they did it, because it's probably very different than how I did it.
Right.
Yep. So anyway, that's all we got.
Yeah, it's Justy's bedtime, and
Yes,
I have more work to do. Sadly, gosh, damn.
Ugh.
I
together.
know. Sometimes these work trips just turn out to be like forever long days, but it's also great for me and Justy to record because I have like peace and quiet. So
Right.
it works
Right.
out well. So anyway.
Right. All right,
All right.
y'all. Well,
Well,
have a
thank
good
you all
day.
for listening. Happy New Year, because I know we're in the new year now. And we will see you next time.
Yep. Bye.
All right. Bye.